welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Shimmer and I am an absolute beauty addict, and if you'd like to see more of my videos, please do subscribe down below. It's completely free of charge, so I'll start popping up on your newsfeed. I obviously couldn't resist jumping on the bandwagon. Everyone has been going absolutely mad for the new Rihanna beauty line called Fenty Beauty. It was released sort of worldwide in every single Sephora, which was really like an epic launch. Immediately, I think almost everyone just went and got some of the products, and yeah, I popped into my local Sephora, couldn't resist sort of swatching everything, looking through everything, and I picked up a few things. So today I'm going to talk you through my first impressions, what I think about the products, how they feel on my skin. They're all face products. So what I thought I would do is I'll talk you through what they are and how they perform and how they actually look at my skin. So stay tuned to later on when you can see how I actually apply them and what I've done with them. And this is the final look. So it's very sort of natural, very much focused on luminous, glowy skin, just really lovely base products. So let's get started. Let's talk about packaging, and I love it. It is stunningly beautiful. I love this kind of graphic monochrome look that she's gone for. It's obvious that there is a lot of thought that has gone into both the packaging and the products, and they look really good, really luxurious. Some of them are quite evidently filled with sort of this graffiti look, and they just look really cool. Yeah, really liking the packaging. So let's start with the first product that I got. I couldn't resist getting one of the foundations, and I have to say I kind of went into it a bit blind. I haven't started seeing reviews yet about the foundation. Since then I have, and it's quite unusual. So the foundation, I picked up the shade 300. Obviously got quite a tan skin. I'll leave all of the details down below in the comments box. So I've swatched a lot of the different shades. She has over 40 shades, which if you're looking at Fenty Beauty, you'll know that she launched one of the biggest launches of the most shade range ever. So one of the thought process behind this line is that she wanted to have a shade that would match every person. So everyone from the lightest, palest skin to the darkest, deepest skin tone, which I think is fantastic. Being inclusive and being diverse is such a difficult thing to do, and one thing that I always struggle with is finding things that would match my skin tone, because I've kind of got that sort of tan, neutral skin tone, and usually the shades that I find are actually really dark or really pale, and I don't really find something that will match my skin tone. So cut out the shade 300, and this is what it looks like. Let's see if I can actually, I'm gonna open it from the bottom because I don't want to ruin the packaging. This is what the foundation looks like, and it's packaged in a very thick glass, which is very luxurious feeling. It's got a white cap, and the words Fenty Beauty is sort of engraved on the top of the glass. So just really pretty, really slim, and yeah, it's very nice. There's actually 1.08 fluid ounces in here, or 32 ml of foundation. Usually I think things are 30 ml and 1 fluid ounces, so you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck. And it does come with a pump as well, so definitely appreciate that feature, because sometimes you get foundations and they don't come with a pump. Why would you sell foundation without a pump? So this is what it looks like. Just really nice. Now, when I was swatching all of the shades in store, what I realized was everything had a number to it, and they jump in 10. So I think it starts with 100, 110, 120, all the way down to almost the 490s, if I'm not mistaken. And they're divided into 3 different tones. So you have a warm, a cool, and a neutral. So mine is actually 300 neutral, which I very much prefer because I've got some redness in my skin, but I'm also not too warm sometimes. I find that certain foundations can go really warm on me, which I don't really like. So As you can see, actually, it's quite a good color match, especially around my neck and body area. So that is a pleasant surprise. I wasn't really sure. It was really hard when I was in store trying to swatch things. I was testing it directly on my face as well. I couldn't really figure out whether it was a good skin match. So I'm kind of happy with this, especially since I've heard that the foundation does oxidize a little bit. It does tell you on all of the kind of display area, I suppose. Display area. It does tell you that you have to wait for the foundation to dry down because it turns slightly darker, but I wouldn't say it oxidizes to the extent that it wouldn't match your shade. So I think actually they've done really well. It does dry down, but otherwise it's very, very good match. I didn't think that this foundation was too light for me. I didn't think it was way too dark. And I am quite a fan. Now, in terms of texture, this is quite liquidy, which is very unusual. It does tell you that it is a matte foundation, and actually the name of it is called the Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. And what I realized was it does come out very liquidy, almost like my NARS Sheer Glow, but unlike the NARS Sheer Glow, it immediately sort of dried down. So what I like to do, and you're going to see that in a little while when I'm actually putting it on my face, is that I like to do a couple of pumps on the back of my hand, take a beauty blender, dab it, and then do like each side of my face and my forehead, and then just sort of go down. I usually like to cover under my eyes as well using foundation, and then just kind of smooth everything out. So what I found actually, because of the way it dried down, I had to work super quickly because the foundation was literally just drying on my hand and just leaving a mark right there. So be very quick. Now, in terms of how it actually feels, it is super lightweight. Very surprised about this. It doesn't feel sticky at all. It's completely dried down, and again, it's very fast acting, and it just feels like skin. There's no tackiness, there's no sort of stickiness, and it feels, my skin at the moment is quite dry, and what I found, I can take a camera actually. And what I found does catch a little bit on the dry bits of my skin, and it doesn't completely sort of fill them in and glide over them. So it kind of feels like if you have foundation that has a lot of silicone in it, or the methicone, usually that just kind of feels everything and blurs everything. What I find is that it covers a lot of my redness, but in terms of texture, the texture is still very much there, so you don't get that sort of smoothing effect. It's actually not too bad. It doesn't emphasize dryness too badly, and actually I would be quite happy going out like this, with my skin tone intact, with my kind of skin texture right there. It doesn't actually look too bad, which is quite good. There we go. So that is what my skin texture looks like. I've obviously got a lot of marks, a lot of acne marks, but it's done a good job sort of covering all of the pigmentation, all of the redness. Unfortunately, under the eyes, because it dried down so quickly, I didn't have enough product to just finish off under the eye, so it does look a little darker than usual, which is when I moved on to the concealer. So in terms of the foundation, it is a very nice surprise. I think it's very kind of just simple, really basic to wear. If you're looking for something in terms of a medium to buildable coverage, would definitely recommend. It feels really nice, really lightweight, and yeah, my skin looks like skin. So if you're a person who have perfect skin, actually this would probably do very well for you. If you have really textured skin, I might go for something with a little bit more silicone in it, and definitely I could see that it's dried down to a matte finish. And with the other products, actually it balances each other really well, so I'm going to talk you through the other products. To the rest of the base products, I also picked up one of the Match Trio. So this is called the Match Stix Trio, and it comes with a concealer, a contour color, and a highlight color. So these are the Skinsticks that she has released, and they do come individual, so you can buy them individually as opposed to being in a pack. I wanted to try out the pack just because you get a little bit more of a discount with it. not that much, but still. So I've got the tanned 300 shade in caramel, truffle and rum. And what this actually says, it's curated for your skin tone, and they also magnetize for lightest air layering on the go. So it's meant to be matching to the foundation that you would go nearest to, and since I got 300, this seems to be ideal. When I was testing it in store, I thought that the concealer was a little bit too dark for what I wanted, but I thought I'll try it out anyway. So let's open up this one. Now these are the matchstick trio, or the matchsticks, and as you can see, they're in this kind of hexagon shape tube, and they all magnetize and they stick together. So if you just want to pop a whole bunch in your bag, they keep very well and they don't sort of rattle around, which I do appreciate. Again, you kind of see this, a lot of thought process going into the packaging and how the products would work together, and that's definitely something I do appreciate. So in terms of I'm going to talk through each one individually. So the first one is obviously the concealer, and this is what it looks like. You do get quite a lot of product, so it's a really fat stick, and I'm going to roll it all the way up so you get about this much of product. And how much does it actually say? This is about 7.10 grams or 0.25 ounces. There we go. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to swatch this at the back of my hand so you can actually see. Now the texture of these, and the matchsticks are divided into both matte and shimmer finishes. So these are obviously matte. And that is the shade of caramel. So I thought it was a little bit too dark actually, especially compared to my skin tone. You can see right there. And it's definitely a very dried cream finish. So even though all of these products are cream products, they have a very weird dryness to them. And I find that the best way to actually work with these is probably to warm a little up with your fingers and then sort of pat them on and blend the color out that way. When I use them directly on my skin, I found that it dragged a little bit, it tugged a little bit, and it was a bit hard to blend the products out. I kind of have to work with it quite a bit. So I think if you warm it up, it definitely works much better. So that is the concealer shade in caramel. Then the other shade is the contour color, which is in the color Truffle. And this is what it looks like. Truffle is definitely really, really dark. That's what it looks like. I'm going to swatch that at the back of my hands as well. And it comes off as super, super dark. Right there. So again, texture of these, very, very dry. And I didn't quite like it when I first used this here. I find that it can definitely, doesn't seem to blend very well. And then I tried it on this side. And what I did was 2 swipes as opposed to 1, and then I sort of blend in circular motions with my Real Techniques brush. And I found that actually this side blended up really well, whereas this side didn't. So I think it may be my own application process, and definitely the kind of blending and contour on this side looks a lot better. So I don't know, it's definitely my technique dealing with it. What I did like about Truffle was that there is a cool tone to it, so not very evident here. There is definitely a kind of cool tone running through it, which makes it really nice as a contour color. You don't want something that's overly too warm because that makes it a bronzer and it just sort of hits the high point of your face as opposed to creating a shadow. I also use this on my eyes just a little bit, so I warmed it up with my fingers and started patting it in the crease, making a really natural shadow, and that was really effortless. I like using these on my eyes as well. And finally, we have another of the highlight shade, and this one is called Rum. So I swatched Rum individually, and I just really like the shade color. This is what it looks like. Let's go to the back of my hand. So Rum is a sort of golden highlight shade, and I'm always going towards gold. So that is what the color looks like. Again, very natural, very neutral tone and a beautiful shine to it. Even though it's a shimmer color, again, the texture of that and the formula of that feels quite dry. So I would again recommend just using your hands to warm it up, whether you're blending it out or actually applying it. Now, I didn't use it as a highlight. What I did was actually put it all over my eyelids, and it blended well with the contour color, and it's just a very easy eye. So I did those two, put lots of mascara on, and I think it looks like a really natural kind of easy eye look on the go, and I could be outdoors. So I actually really like those, not as face products but actually as eye products, and they work really well as well. I picked up another match Stix as an individual, and this is one of the colored shades in Yacht Lyfe, and it is stunningly pretty. So this is what it looks like. Obviously, it's got a little bit of a pink running through it. This is one of the colored shades, and the formula itself is still kind of sheer and shimmery. So let's swatch this. And this is what it looks like. It's got a little bit of that kind of evanescent pink running through it with a little bit of gold. So very, very pretty color. Can definitely still be used as a highlight, but I do like this as a kind of blush topper. Now, obviously my skin is a little bit tan, so in terms of the color, I can see the color when I'm looking in the mirror, and it's not really kind of showing up in terms of the camera, but there's definitely a little bit of shade to it. So if you're lighter skin tone, I think this would work really well as a blush. Very, very pretty color. If you're darker skin tone, it's definitely a kind of blush topper slash highlight, because the undertone of the pink isn't going to be really, really bright. So you can definitely still build it up though and get more of that pink. So if I swatch a few more times, you can definitely get a little bit more color payoff right there. Super, super pretty. I really like that. It kind of reminds me of NARS Orgasm, or the color that I wish NARS Orgasm would be. So that's another one of the matchsticks. And then we move on to the highlights. Oh, so Rihanna released a whole lot of highlighters. I picked up one of the duos. I wasn't all that fussed on the two singles, which was, I think that was Moonchild and Trophy Wife. I just wasn't drawn to them. I thought Moonchild there was no color payoff, there was no highlight payoff either. It was kind of like a nyeh product. And Trophy Wife was just like a glitter bomb. It was so yellow gold, and I couldn't really think about working with it. But this one is so pretty. So this is one of the Kilawatt highlighter duos in the shade Girl Next Door and Chic Phreak. And so, so pretty. I swatched so many of them, and these two I kept coming back to. So it looks like this. It's not in the traditional pink, it's rather white with Fenty Beauty written on it. It's got the hexagonal shape to it, and then you open it up, there's a mirror, and these are the two shades. So I think that is Girl Next Door and that is Chic Phreak. Definitely a bit of a pink warm tone running through it, and just really, really beautiful. And the packaging in this one is a little bit different from the rest of the range. I kind of wish they've stuck with the rest, because this one kind of reminds me of H&M, because they have the white plastic feeling, and it just kind of detracts a little bit from it. But the product itself is really pretty. So I'm gonna swatch the two shades. So this is Girl Next Door, and it looks something like this. So one side is definitely much more blinding highlight, whereas this one is a more natural one. So it's got a slight pink sheen to it, and this is what it looks like. Very, very pretty. And then the shade which I absolutely love, come back. The shade that I absolutely love is Chic Phreak, and it's just so pretty. That is Chic Phreak. And and that's what the color looks like. It's got a kind of peachy glow to it, which I love. I think it looks so good against my skin tone. It just gives it a little bit of warmth, and there's a lot of color payoff. Now, these powder products are exactly the same as the cream products. It's a little bit drier than expected, but you still pick up quite an amount of product with the brushes. So I have Chic Phreak, is it Chic Phreak? Yes, I've got Chic Phreak as the highlight. And what I did with Girl Next Door was just put it across my T-zone and sort of a little bit over my face to give a little bit of luminosity and take away that super matte finish, just so I've got a kind of glowing face. So that is what it looks like. Just really, really pretty. I love the fact that the FB logo is just engraved into the powder. Just look at that. Very, very pretty. So totally a fan of this. In terms of price, the entire range kind of goes between 30, 40, up to the Matchsticks trio, which I think are about $50, etc. So in dirhams, the cheapest one was about 120 dirhams for the single Matchsticks, followed by the highlighter, which is 160 dirhams. And then you have the Matchsticks trio, which was the most expensive, is 245. And then the foundation itself was 170. So in terms of the price, I think it's about mid-range. It's not overly expensive, but it's also definitely not drugstore price. So in terms of my overall impression, I'm gonna leave down in the comments below about how the foundation actually wears, how the rest of the product wears, whether they start to break down or they're long lasting. I'll leave them all down in the comments. In terms of my first impressions, actually I am an absolute fan. I think the foundation itself is a good color match. It feels really nice on the skin, and I think in terms of everyday wear, this is a good one. I feel like I can just throw this on in the day and then be out the door. I just have to be a little bit careful about the fact that it dries down really quickly, so I have to work quickly with it. I'm not really sure how to go about it. Do I do one pump and then another pump for the rest of my face? Goodness knows. I'll figure that out. So the foundation itself is really nice. I think it feels really nice on the skin. I'm not sure whether it topples my NARS Sheer Glow in terms of primary place, but I think this is a very nice addition. Next, with the Matchsticks trio, not really sure. I kind of feel like I could have bought them individually and sort of chosen the colors that I wanted as opposed to it being in a pack. If you're a kind of person who don't really mind, you prefer just buying things as a trio, then yeah, this is probably a good idea. I kind of want to see her come out with more trios so that I could maybe find a concealer that would match me a little bit better. Yeah, I'm just not that much a fan of the concealer itself, but I'll continue using it. In terms of the contour color and the highlight color, I really like those. The contour color in the shade Truffle works really well as both a contour shade as well as something for the eyes. So I like the fact that I can use it for multi-purposes. And the highlight shade is just really pretty. Again, I think I can probably use that as both a highlighter and an eye color, so I really like that as well. They are a little bit dry, and I don't know whether they'll be looking to tweak the formula a little bit, maybe make it slightly more creamy, slightly more emollient, so that they're easier to work with, but hopefully that wouldn't sacrifice actual wear time. Now, the single matchsticks that I bought in the shade Yacht Lyfe, again, I really like that. As a color, I think it's quite unique. I could probably wear it on my eyes as well, if I fancy it, so that's cool. Probably wouldn't wear it on my lips. I think it will be too dry, and it will definitely catch on all of my dryness on my lips, so I probably wouldn't use it for that purposes. But I think it's a really pretty color, and I hope that she comes up with more shades, more colors for these, because they're quite fun to play with. Again, with the other matchsticks, I'm hoping that it's a little bit more creamier, just so that it's easier when it goes and blends on the skin. terms of the highlighter, I think this is possibly my favorite product out of the lot, but you can't really go wrong with highlighters. I feel like that's just one of those products that would do well as long as they're nice and don't crumble on you and actually have a good payoff. So I feel like this was probably the easiest to perfect, and they're really nice products in terms of highlighter. There are other shades available as well, but I'm really in love with these two. I think they're a nice combination. One is a little bit more silvery, the other one is a bit more peachier. So definitely don't trust the shades as they look on the box. Go and swatch them because they do come out a little bit differently than when you're just looking at them. So when you're just looking at them, you're kind of thinking, right, that's super pink, they're kind of rosy, but they come out, the shades come out really beautifully and a little bit differently on the skin tone. So that is definitely a highlight of the entire range. I'm really big fan of this. I really like it, and I think this is actually the type of product that pulls the entire range together. So there's a big emphasis on, you know, the base, the foundation, it being matte, and I feel like it's supposed to work with the other products in the range because all of the other products are a little bit shimmery as well to give you that bit of a glow. The fact that there is a highlight shade in here that's a little bit more muted means you can put it all over your face and it just gives that little bit of life back in your skin, which I really like. So I think she's actually thought about it and allow you to create anywhere from if you're a person who really likes a matte finish to if you want a little bit of dewiness, a little bit more sparkle and life to your face, you can actually still do that. So I like the fact that you can kind of mix and match and coordinate, and they're really easy to use with the exception of it's a little bit drier. Otherwise, I think everything is almost in a stick form. Almost everything you can probably use your fingers to blend out and work into your skin. So I like that these are targeted towards sort of the everyday woman who wants things that you can just put on really quickly and get out the door. I don't think that was the emphasis of the entire branding. The emphasis was definitely on diversity, but I think if you take that forward a little bit more, you can also see that really it's products for the everyday woman, and they're fun. They're really fun. Some of the colors are really cool, and I've seen the other shades as well. They're just really nice to play with, so there's something for everyone, and I would definitely recommend going in store into Sephora. I think they're also being sold somewhere else, but definitely if there's a Sephora near you, go and check them out because they're really fun to play with, really nice to swatch. And I think overall I really like this look, so I've finalized it with a little bit of lip balm. I didn't get her gloss because I'm not a gloss person, but I finished it off with a really easy lip balm and lots of mascara and kind of left the rest of my face just kind of dewy and matte where they need to be, and it just looks really fresh, so I'm a big fan. Now, if you're interested to see how I actually put the products on, keep on watching. end of my first impressions and review of Rihanna's Fenty Beauty and a full face using Fenty Beauty as well. I really like this look. I think the shades are fantastic. I'm so happy that I found a color that actually matched, so that is a big plus. All of the shades I've swatched for you, so you can rewind to watch the rest of it, but I'm definitely a fan, a huge thumbs up for this entire range, and I really hope that she comes up with more products because they're really cool. So that's the end of it. If you like this video, please remember to click the thumbs up sign and click like below, and do subscribe if you want to see more. And I love to hear your comments down below. Have you tried Fenty Beauty? And do you like them? Do you hate them? What do you think about the entire range? Leave your comments down below. I would love to hear them, and I'll see you next time. Bye!